And I have to say, this might actually be my favorite animation I've made for the game so far. I added possibly the most important system in the entire game. This level is a little different from most of the others because it's mainly vertical. It's been quite a while since I last published my last devlog, which I think was devlog 17 probably. And some of you have been asking what happened to the game. The answer is I stopped. Then I started, then I stopped again, and now I'm actually working on it again. So today I want to show you what's changed. And we're starting with probably the biggest visual update, the bosses. Making a boss for a game is surprisingly hard, mainly because a good boss is not just about making it really hard, because if it's too hard, then it is frustrating, but if it's too easy, then it is not satisfying enough. So what I think makes a good boss is when you're actually overwhelmed at first, and then you start figuring out the pattern, like in Cuphead and games like that. Basically, you learn what you need to do, what is going to happen, and then you start getting used to how the bosses fight. And eventually, you are the one bullying the boss, not the other way around. So in this game, Untold Capers, the bosses will be that way as well. So they will be hard at first, and then you're gonna figure out the pattern. And I also want the levels to be that way. The levels won't be procedural generated, and that's what I've been trying to get right with Untold Capers. So Untold Capers is a game I've been working on since Mickey Mouse from Steamboat Willie was released to the public domain back in 2024, and also Oswald, which is kind of the main character. In fact, he was actually released to the public a year prior in 2023. So this is the boss I originally had in the town level, and yeah, that was the boss. Obviously, this was mostly a placeholder. I knew I wanted some kind of giant character that could float around, but I never really liked how it looked, so I completely redesigned it. Well, it's very similar still, but it's different, better. So he's inspired by the classic tragedy mask. That's why Dramask. His name is, I spent far longer than I would like to add. And this is how it currently looks in game. I'm actually really happy with how this one turned out. One of the biggest reasons I stopped working on Untold Capers for a while was that I kept second guessing the artwork. I would draw something, then redraw it, then decided I needed to hire an artist, then reconsider the entire art direction and redraw many things again. And at some point I realized that I could either keep waiting until everything looked perfect, or I could actually finish the game. So I decided I'm just going to do the best I can with the artwork myself and focus more on what I think really matters for this game. Actually finishing the animation, the cartoon style, the world, the creative ideas that feel like from a rubber hose cartoon. And maybe one day, if this does well, I can work with a full team of actual artists, but for now you get me. So Dramask attacks mostly by punching and using this giant explosive wind attack. Before we move on, this has absolutely nothing to do with the game development, but I bought a DJI Neo 2. One thing that I really like about this drone is that you can actually control it with your hand. It's pretty handy. You don't actually need a device like a phone or a tablet to control it. You can just use your hand gestures and then it would understand. And it also has buttons, and it's a really cool device. I'm really happy that I bought it. It's gonna help me. I just wanted to mention it here and show some clips that I recorded it, as I don't have anywhere else to show these clips, so that's why you are seeing them right now. Anyways, back to the game. I've also finished a few more animations for Mickey. One thing that bothered me before was the jumping, because it looked too static, like a PNG being dragged around the map. So I finally made a proper moving jump animation, or actually I'm just using a single frame, but at least it has the pose of him jumping. The one I'm much happier is the melee attack. I really wanted Mickey's movement to take advantage of the rubber hose style instead of just giving him a normal punch. So his arm stretches outward while the other one curls, and then he launches himself forward into this spinning tornado attack. And I have to say, this might actually be my favorite animation of the entire game. It just feels really cartoony and slightly ridiculous, which is exactly what I wanted. Now we have Bink. I've shown this boss before, but I've developed the idea a little more. Bink is a giant pencil. His health bar is basically his body. He starts out as this really long pencil, and every time Oswald damages him, he gets shorter, then shorter, and did I say shorter? So yeah, he has 3 states, each one being shorter than the other, and angrier as well, until eventually he's just a very angry office supply. The fight is planned to have 3 main stages, and one of his attacks is slamming the eraser down onto Oswald. But before we get to Bink, we have to make our way through the construction level. So this level is a little different from most of the others because it's mainly vertical. Instead of constantly moving from left to right, the idea here is that you are climbing higher and higher and higher. You're moving through a construction site in the sky, jumping between platforms, wrecking balls and beams. The level still isn't finished, but the main idea is that if you fall, you lose progress. I wanted to make it kind of like only up, where if you fall, you lose progress. They're gonna have to climb very, very high to reach Bink. You get the 3 stages of Bink and then you win, assuming you haven't thrown your controller before that. So yeah, I'm sure everyone will find it extremely relaxing. Anyway, chickens. The countryside level now has chickens. I showed that on a previous video. Possibly the most important system in the entire game. Wait for it. Wait for it. If you manage to get 2 chickens close enough to each other, wait for it. Wait for it.
It's just a baby.
That's actually kind of... Oh. The countryside boss. The countryside boss is actually 2 characters. These are MushBros. One of them looks permanently like happy and dumbfounded, and the other one looks a lot grumpier. So their current preferred combat strategy is using their heads, like literally using their heads. They charge toward Oswald and basically try to headbutt him. So this boss isn't finished yet, and I still want to give them more attacks and more personality during the fight, perhaps. But this is roughly how they are looking in game right now. So cool. So back to the town. Speaking of mushrooms and completely destroying the geographical organization of this video, I guess, I also added these giant mushroom platforms. And I know what you're thinking, if here you have mushrooms, why not add mushrooms in the countryside level, or vice versa? Like the bosses should be in this level, which has more mushrooms than the countryside level. But like I said, the town level has the cinema, so the countryside gets the mushrooms because the town level gets the Dramask. So they come in different heights, and they are basically bouncy platforms you have to use to get over obstacles like this stack of boxes. I've also made the street lamps usable as platforms. You can jump on them. Do I currently know exactly what gameplay purpose that's going to serve? No, but you can jump on them. That's what's important. Now let's move on to the warfare level. I've been improving the enemy AI here. The soldiers are now smarter than they were before. They had a tendency of casually walk off platforms if their surveillance walk was a little longer than the platform they would fall, so now they will only move towards the edge and then turn around and go towards the other edge. Unless they spot the player, they would still fall. They can also climb over smaller obstacles if they are within reach. So overall, they are becoming slightly more capable enemies. Never mind. Oh, once you get close to a boss arena, the camera now locks, so once you're in, you are in, like no running away. You either beat the boss or the boss beats you, which brings us to Pete. Give me 1 second. Okay, this is Pete, and technically this was the first proper boss I made for the game. I've been changing how his fight works so that his attacks follow a more readable pattern. At first he fires these fast cannonballs straight toward the player, then he starts firing them at different angles, and then he launches this one which comes back. Although if you get too close to him, he stumps, so don't do that. Okay, hang on. Once he's finished firing, he becomes vulnerable, and that's when you attack. Eventually, I want these fights to feel difficult at first, but very predictable once you've learned them. So you shouldn't win because you got lucky, you should win because you finally understand what the boss is doing. Before we finish, here are a few things I've made that currently live in what I like to call the ideas purgatory. First, there's this version of Pete of the construction area. I haven't decided if I'm actually going to use him yet. Then there's Julius the cat, just in case. I might add it as a reference in somewhere in the game, you have to find it. I've also made the goat from Steamboat Willie. You already saw him in the Steamboat section. The idea is that he'll eventually interact with music in some way. And finally, this car. This is for a level idea I've had for a while. I'm not going to explain what it is just yet, but if it works, I think it could be one of the most interesting sections of the game. More on that in another video. So that's where Untold Capers is right now. I'm finally pushing the game forward again. There are still a lot of unfinished ideas, areas, animations, bosses, mechanics I need to work on, but I'm trying to stop endlessly redesigning everything and actually get the game finished. If you enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like, and especially let me know in the comment section what you think about the bosses so far, which one is your favorite if you have any, and if you have ideas for attacks, level mechanics, or just something that you think belongs in the 1920s cartoon game, leave it below. There's a non-zero chance that I'll actually add it. And again, if you want to support the game, you can wishlist it on Steam using the link in the description. Also, if you want to support me and this channel, you can join our Patreon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on my next or previous video.